think it's basically the essence of ready to race, this product.
This bike is not a compromise. We didn't work in the direction to build up a compromise between street and track.
If you think about KTM as a brand, this is the most ready to race thing you could do in terms of a street product.
When the P-1 makes its appearance in the KTM R&D, it was really a Frankenstein model. So basically it was an ambitious plan from a mechanic and an engineer to put together some parts that were around and to try if it works.
We hear projects a few years in advance. It doesn't often mean that it makes it to the production phase. And when I heard about the KTM 990 RCR, I just thought, man, we're going to have to bring this bike into production. I smile now because I remember that day. I remember talking to the teams and product management and really pushing and saying, guys, we're going in the right direction here.
We were still at that point in the research phase with the SPM, and nothing was written still in the paper, but R&D was still so ambitious to look in this product. Then they started to do something. It was not the final frame, it's not the final swing arm, it's not the final subframe, no fairing, or at least a sort of fairing was on that bike. But basically after that, and we have all the prototype stage, you can see how the direction honestly was already clear from the beginning. The motorbike was not working for sure as we want to, but the direction, the idea, the concept was there from day one. After that, when the prototype stage ran with the P0, with the P1, with the P2, and then at the end with the P3, honestly, when I jump into the production line in R&D, it is a super small production line that they produce around 10 bikes, you realize, okay, it's happening. It's really at the last stage. This is almost a production bike that fulfill all the needs that we had in our mind. So it's the concept that was a Frankenstein element, now it's a build-up. It's there, the shapes are defined, the material are that one. So you are really feeling in yourself a sort of feeling in your stomach, like, okay, it's happening.
My name is Robert Stadelbauer. I'm project leader for naked and sports bikes at KTM. And one of my projects is the 990 RCR. In my role as project leader, I'm responsible to be the connection between the different departments which are part of the development of a bike. We have we call it so, IPT, Interdisciplinary Project Team, 8 different departments from KTM, which are connected to other departments too. And these are the development team, the R&D, the design team from Kiska, the controlling to take a look on numbers. Then for sure we have customer service, purchasing to get all these parts, production, quality management and product management, which defines which bikes we want to define. It keeps an eye during the development that we are on track.
Basically, a product manager must represent the customer during the whole development journey of a product. We don't want to adjust, let's say, the customer to the product, but the product must fit the customer itself. So we want to create something that in this case it's specifically the 990 RCR that can suit the customer needs. So the product must in a way be tailor-made for the customer. That's our idea and that's our main goal.
As soon as we've realized the potential of the parallel twin, the next logical step was to go back into the full-fared community, and this is what we did.
When we received the commitment from our top management that we were going to build up again a Supersport bike, the project team was quite shocked. At that moment, we say, okay, we always wish on doing it, but now we must do it. We must deliver. So, in which direction now we should go? What does it mean, a new era of the Supersport bike? KTM was basically it will be, to tell the truth, one of the first company bringing back this new era of Supersport bike. And with this project, we want really to set the target. We want to be the main benchmark for the new era of the Supersport motorbikes. When we started the testing of the motorbike and basically the 990 RCR was not existing, we took most of the competitors as a benchmarking. And what we figured out after a test on track, it was that there was not a Supersport bike that was working perfectly on track and on the street. Most of the bike had such a super focus riding position with a tight ergonomic that was not allowing basically the bike to be ridden and enjoying it. Or on the other way around, we were talking a bit more about soft Supersport bike. So bike that the ergonomic was too much compliant for the street and not anymore for the track, so that when we were pushing, the bike was not feeling you enough. So basically what we figured out was that there was this niche in the market, this niche of customer that was not satisfied by any product already existing. And that was the direction. Already when we built up then later on the Frankenstein bike and then we jump on the Prototype Zero, the direction was clear. It was to build up and to define the target for the new era of the Supersport market.
We as a homologation department proved the compliance to all worldwide regulations to make the bike street legal and ready to race for the customer. Normally we are stepping in a very, very late state of the process. So when the prototype is 100% likely a serial bike, then it's our point where we show up. One of the most critical things is absolutely the noise regulation, because it got very strict over the last few years. We have to be very specific and very strict when the whole motorcycle is developed, that there are no chances that the airbox, the chain or the tires are going over the levels or the limits, because most of the time not even the exhaust system is the loudest part of the motorcycle. There can be also a very loud noise from the tires, the chain or the airbox. I wouldn't say that there are tests which are more important than any other test, because each test is very important on their own. So there's for sure a test which only takes 1 day, other tests takes at least 10 weeks. But a very cool thing is that we don't have to drive to any other countries, because we have our own measurement and test center here in Mattighofen, and we can easily do all our noise tests directly in front of the company. So we can do our pre-tests on our own, and the official noise test is also done here in Mattighofen. There has only to be an appointment with the technical service, then the guys will come to us, and yeah, it's all done here.
I think something that really stands out for me is that we're not just launching a race bike, we're launching a range of 990 RCRs. What does that mean? Essentially, you can tailor a motorcycle to your needs. If you want to do track days, we'll have something for you. If you want to ride on the street and bust the mountain passes, that's the best weapon for you. So the package in total, I would say, is probably one of the things for me that stands out the biggest. Of course, there are smaller things as well, which makes each individual bike stand out. For example, the engine. It's such an amazing engine. The torque, the power that it produces and how it produces it. It's definitely something that you can use in any use case. So for me, the engine is quite special, but seeing that there's a whole range of these motorcycles coming, that allows us to, I would say, have a product for every customer out there.
After that, the whole testing phase with the lead test riders has been submitted on the R&D side, one of the most important part of the product happened. That's the stakeholder ride. That's effectively the moment when our top management evaluate the job that has been done until that moment. Our goal was clear. We want to prove the bike on track, on a MotoGP circuit, but also to prove the bike on the street. So basically what we do normally, we go there, in that case me and Matt from SPM, to check a loop on the street around the circuit. Because for us, for sure, the bike must perform at the highest level of track, but it's also essential that can prove its best on the street side. So basically to our stakeholder, we requested to assess the product on the track side, and then on the afternoon we jump over on the street. And also there, the feedback that we collect from them, it was quite impressive.
When you are on the straight, it's hot or it's hot?
No, it's okay. It's not too
Specifically on that case, we had also the privilege to have Jonas Folger, that he joined our stakeholder ride as a representative from the R&D side. And we there collected again the feedback from a professional racer, combined together with the feedback that we had from our potential customer represented by our stakeholder. There we try really to find the match between what a competitive racer is feeling, what the customer is feeling, and then again with the representative for the track and for the street. So I think it was really the moment when we had all the elements together to give a proper assessment. Ergonomics and riding position were the most crucial elements, and that's what also marks the difference of these motorbikes. In general, thanks to this combination of ergonomic and riding position, the chassis behavior that brings you during the riding, it's a complete next level. So a rider, even if it's tall or more short, you will feel completely integrated with the ergonomics of the bike. An interesting point of the 990 RCR is the fuel tank. The fuel tank is a complete new development and is based on 6 ergo contact points. Basically, during the whole journey, when our lead constructor and designer developed that part, they were just looking at the customer needs, and that was not going to be just design elements. The main goal, it was to create a functional element. So with these 6 contact points, basically the rider will feel the support during the riding experience in the corners, because basically you will always keep a contact point during the riding.
If you look at the other tank shapes, they are just random. They're just random tanks. This is, honestly, from the visual point of view, it's a bit weird, because it has all these small edges, but each of these surfaces is developed with a function to support you during riding. That technically must make you even less tired, let's say. For you, maybe it's not an issue, but for the entry-level customer, that you have a bit this holding and supporting point. Maybe also
even for me, I think I felt quite good on the bike. Like, it's not really demanding.
Can you put the ABS in the Sport? I just want to feel it.
Sport, you want to?
Even on first gear, turn 4, I could really regulate the slide. So this was the only point where I kind of had a power slide, only in first gear, which was really nice. But to be honest, the braking performance is way better than I expect. I expect that ABS is cutting a lot.
It's cutting a lot of power.
I expect that brake is getting,
because here you don't
pressure
have the
is losing
line.
because of heat. Nothing of that happens, so it's really nice.
Thanks to the cooperation with Brembo, we equipped the bike with the high pure brake system, brake caliper. Specifically in this case, we upgrade compared to the previous system that we had, that was the Stilema. Now with the high pure, the riding feeling and the braking performance enhance even more. During the development stage, we had different braking pads and we tested different friction out of it. And at the end, we found the best balance ever to have enough bar of pressure over the brake lever to allow the best braking performance. On average, I will ensure you, this bike, you can really squeeze at the maximum and the brake system will always support you. we have our new headlight unit. That's a complete new development done by Kishka. And you can easily see how the headlight is integrated completely into the mask itself. The headlight unit is composed mainly by two elements. The headlight unit itself with the high and low beam integrated in the same projector, and in the bottom part we have a tiny LED bar that will cover all the position lights needs. This marks a bit the new direction of the headlight units to be more minimalized and fully integrated in the main mask and fairing of the motorbike. The headlight unit and specifically the position lights is also completely integrated with the winglets. The winglets have been developed in the wind tunnel. So our R&D built up different shapes together with design of winglets, and we figured out in the wind tunnel that the downforce progressed over the motorbike was the best one with this shape. So that's the reason why this shape was chosen. Basically, the downforce, it was at a certain amount that the riding experience was improved thanks to it. So we're not talking about the design elements, but it's really something functional that brings the riding experience at the next level.
I have to say, after one session on the street or half a session on the track bike, I'm convinced of the gearbox, to be honest.
After that, the round of the stakeholder had the possibility to test the motorbike on the street and the track, the assessment phase took place. That's one of the most important part of the stakeholder audit, because basically that's the moment when we debrief the whole riding experience that they had during the day, and that's really the last moment when they can submit a requested change.
Exactly. Just to get the confirmation.
Later on, we were sitting inside the box in a round table, and each stakeholder was representing his own department. So his own guys and girls and professionals that were working for months on it. And there was really the last moment that they had the opportunity to bring a change, to bring a point and something that they want really to improve in the project itself. It's quite a, we can say, a tension moment, because everyone feel really accountable on what they are doing, because you are not just expressing your riding feeling, but you are really representing the whole department that you have behind you.
So it is possible to have stronger springs, it is possible to have different shim states.
Quite a big difference to how much energy it takes on the bike. You can easily get off and in the position.
What I felt the fairing is really nice, because most fairings are too big, too close to the rider, and if you're on track, you really put on the weight on the front and you hit many times on the fairing. So that's something really positive, that you have a lot of space to move there.
Handlebar and feedbacks. General feedback.
From a really amateur hobby rider level, really good. Honestly, I feel immediately I have enough space, I can move around the bike, I feel confident, I can hang off, which on other bikes I find difficult to handle.
For me, what's important is to get the rider more into the bike.
Yes, because you're a bit too lifted up.
You know, a small change can make such a big impact. You know, the weight of the rider is, if it changes just slightly, it takes a big impact on the.
If we're still managing to hit those targets, plus we get what we described today into the bike, a turnkey solution that you really can buy something where even guys of your level can jump on and be happy with something.
We can have fun
Straight out the box. Wow. No one else is offering it that simple, that turnkey, that it's great.
Yeah, looking back to the results of the test phase, we're really proud of the result we achieved. And now we are in the phase to get the bike really ready for production, to get it on the streets.
RCR start of production is set for 2025, beginning of 2025. And basically, the motorbike will be 100% produced in Austria on the Mattinghofen production line, and specifically in two different models. We'll have the 990 RCR street homologated motorcycle and the 990 RCR truck, just focus on the truck use and without any street homologation side. Now with the 990 RCR, for sure we are bringing a lot of enthusiasm around our RC range. We as KTM, we strongly believe in our Supersport segment. We already had it with our joint product motorbike from 125 390, and now we strongly believe that the Supersport direction was the correct one to follow. We developed the new platform. We have our new generation of Supersport motorbike in our portfolio, and for sure, we never stop developing. It's not done, it's not over. We strongly believe that the Supersport segment is the future, and we will continue to bring improvement in that direction. Basically, we never stop.